Did you bring a pen tonight? Oh, I'm so proud of you.
But I didn't bring my notebook and I didn't bring my glasses.
Do you want to? I can't help you with glasses, but I.
Oh, I'm okay, I'll make notes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, welcome. It is 6:31 and we will call this meeting to order, please.
All right. Ms. Jennifer Haggerty?
Here.
Okay. Ms. Laura Gritecki? Absent. Ms. Dana Andres? Here. Mr. James Preston?
Present.
Ms. Judy Stazak? Here.
I need a motion to approve the minutes from our regular board meeting that was dated August 24th, 2022. Tim?
Second.
Judy, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any communications, Board of Ed items, consideration for agenda items or action items? No. Okay. So we'll go to reports.
Yeah.
Megan, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I highlighted a few items for you on the budget status report that was ending August 31st. One of them was the career and technical education enrollment. That enrollment has expanded. We discussed it back during budget season, that we would see it increase and the benefits of that, and we have seen it increase. While we are now in the negative in that budget line, it's for a good reason.
Yeah.
We have, statistically, we have 4 returning CTE students. No, it's gotta be opposite.
Yep.
They're, right? Is it 4
That's
returning?
correct. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
driving
Oh, okay.
last year, I know
It
that.
seemed low, okay. So there's 13 new and 4 returning. I figured that to be opposite, but it is true.
Nope.
We have 2 Tech Valley High School students. We have 3 students at the STEM program at Hudson Valley Community College and 2 career studies students. So a lot of good things happening. A lot of students getting out there into the programs that are available
Nice.
and finding their niche.
Can I bother you for a second? Now, those programs, we take a hit on those for the budget though, overall,
So
fiscally?
the way that it works, it's rolled into a 5-year average from Questar BOCES. So the students that go to CTE programs in Tech Valley High School, it's rolled into the 5-year average. We know that in advance. The career studies is a per student cost is a direct per student cost. It's not rolled into that average. The career studies and the STEM program. They're both a little over $13,000 per student, whereas the CTE program currently, because of our enrollment, is about $7,500 per student. But as I said, that's a rolling 5-year average, so it depends on how many students you send. If you send about the same amount of students year over year, your costs remain about the same, your per student cost. If it fluctuates significantly, like it did a few years ago for us, we had a significant influx, and this year as well, then you see a little bit of the change.
So it actually does tax us fiscally, excuse me.
Yes.
Okay, thank
It
you,
does.
that's why,
Yes.
appreciate that.
The other, oh, I'm sorry, I thought,
I didn't say anything, but I was just thinking you might want to describe that that's aidable. You threw out numbers, but it is aidable.
yes,
as opposed to-
yes, it is. It's a BOCES program, so it's BOCES aidable, which is about 76% back on the dollar.
So
So we
it doesn't really
see that
hurt
year
us.
over year.
It doesn't hurt us that bad fiscally, okay.
No,
That's
it
why I was
does
wondering.
not. It does not, and that's another reason why we are huge proponents of these programs.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying
It
to
makes
figure out.
sense all the way around. It's a win-win.
Glad to see this.
I didn't say anything, it was like you read my mind though, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I know. We've been working together too long here. That's funny. The other thing I wanted to point out, and you guys are used to seeing it by now, especially this time of year, the salary budget lines are in the negative because we have 0 grant approvals at this point. So those will remain in the negative until further notice, until those grant approvals start rolling in, which hopefully they will be in the late fall, November, that time frame. Hopefully it won't go as late as it did a couple years ago until like January. Those should start rolling in, and then you should start seeing that even out with the negatives in the salary lines. Another topic that I wanted to discuss, which is a rather major topic, is the tax collection process. If you recall, back in January, we were faced with a decision to move or pay 250% more to stay. So fiscally prudent decisioning was to leave NERIC. who was doing our tax collection process. Their justification for the increase didn't even make sense. There was nothing to substantiate it. So on top of the fact that it was this huge increase, it just didn't make sense. So we did Shaylin and I did a lot of research on other tax collection services that are out there. And ultimately we decided to go with GST BOCES, Greater Southern Tier BOCES, in combination with a lockbox system. So GST BOCES, they provide us with the software for the tax collection. So all of the billing is done through GST BOCES. That's why your bills looked a little different this year with the perforations and there was a scan line on them. All of that worked beautifully. The billing process, the mailing, the scan lines, all the setup, the software, because the software too is very similar to what we were using at NERIC, so that was nice. What did not go beautifully was the TD Bank lockbox system. So when we were vetting the process with TD Bank back in January and February, we had talked to a couple of people who were intimately familiar with TD Bank's lockbox system. They're used to escrow payments, they are used to tax collection, they're used to school districts. It was sort of a no-brainer, especially when they put the bottom line on there, and it was like, yeah, done deal. So after we signed on, we got a project manager. And the project manager supposedly had 10 years experience. I asked several times if we were her first client because nothing seemed to be going right. I felt like I was asking questions that she should have already had lined up and queued up to say, this is what the process should look like. How do you want it to fit for your school? And that was not happening. So and GST BOCES, their team has been nothing but wonderful and supportive in this, during this whole entire before, during, and now tax collection process, because they want it to go smoothly. They want it to be right. So they have made modifications, they've done whatever they needed to do. We're meeting with them weekly at this point. So the very simple and basic things we're not getting caught. For instance, we had our tax collection opens August 1st. Nothing was processed by TD Bank Lockbox until August 12th. They didn't give us an explanation until about September 1st, right, Shaylin? At the point where they were saying that it was a sorting error. So it was person specific, it was a sorting error, which mistakes happen, we understand, but we have to correct them. The corrections were not happening. And what happens when the corrections aren't happening is Shaylin is getting inundated with phone calls. Why hasn't my check cleared? I sent another payment because my first check didn't clear. Checks are coming back. She's dealing with irate taxpayers, and in some circumstances, rightfully so. Shaylin, I will say, always has a smile on her face and always a kind word, even though that's not what she's always receiving on the other end. Thank you for that, Shaylin.
Thank you, Shaylin.
It's been a cesspool of negativity. I can hear it on the other end of the phone from my office. So.
And it's to no fault of Shaylin's, however, she has to take on the burden as the tax collector. She has to take on the burden of those phone calls. So again, we were meeting weekly, we were trying to troubleshoot this, get them up to par where they need to be. It wasn't happening. We are still regularly seeing errors, regularly emailing back and forth, and Shaylin and I do not have the time for this. We do not. We do not have time to micromanage someone to do their job, especially a bank as large as TD Bank, and someone who has proclaimed that they do tax payments and tax collection for tons of school districts. So on Monday, there was an error that occurred that was so basic and back to the beginning kind of basic, to the point where Shaylin and I met with the lovely ladies over at GST BOCES and said, we want to cut out TD Bank at this point. It's been 45 days of excruciating pain. We don't want another 45 days of it if we can help it. So I spoke to the representative for TD Bank and told her that basically cease and desist. Do not process, one more thing. Everything that comes to TD Bank lockbox, we want it overnighted Monday through Thursday back to the school district. So now, that process, I just got confirmation before I came down here, that is now in place. We will be overnighted all of those payments, which Shaylin now has to enter manually, each and every one, which is a painstaking process on top of her daily duties. So unfortunately, that was the answer to this excruciating process because it was that bad. I don't think I even need to say it, but we will not be going with TD Bank next year. We will be seeking alternative options for the tax collection process. We've enjoyed the relationship with GST BOCES. The software works very well. We just need to close the loop on the tax collection itself and actually processing checks. So there will be changes forthcoming. We'll have more information on that as we get into the budget season, probably January, February, around there. So once we've had time to initiate conversations and decide the best route going forward. So part of the reason that my very lengthy explanation tonight is we know that there are issues out there. We are very well aware. We are sorry that there are issues, and we are doing everything in our power to correct them. And we hope that going forward, things will be a little bit smoother for the rest of this tax collection period. We just ask for some patience and be gentle with Shaylin when you call, please. And I am curious if any of the board members have heard anything from taxpayers.
Yeah, I have,
Okay.
yeah. So I was wondering that being the case, and I was waiting to kind of hear, I knew that we had some changes and some shifts, and
Yeah.
so I'm thankful for the explanation. I took some notes that I can, share what you said. Do we have anything going out to folks to let them know that we understand that this has been a challenge? Something to let people know what's going on in a way that would be, maybe help them be nicer when they call because they have information. Maybe giving them information will help them process what's going on and that it is being managed. I don't know if that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I think that that's a good idea. This was my start. This was my first place, honestly, mostly because I just got word today that the change was in effect. But I like that idea, and it doesn't hurt to put something out there, maybe in a notice in one of your letters to the community, Joe.
I'll do it, and then I have one queued up to go out tonight. I'll do it in the next one.
Okay, sounds good.
This is
Thank
mostly
you.
the people you're hearing from are people who pay their taxes directly. Now, as it affects escrows and institutions, should we be telling people to contact their bank and?
No, Shaylin has done a very good job of managing all of the escrow payments.
Okay.
And if there is any issues, they're very few and far between, and then Shaylin will address them directly with a taxpayer if needed, but it's generally just dealing with the escrow companies. And honestly, the issue with the escrow was that rather than the process being semi-automated and uploading the information, Shaylin had to enter every single line item for a $400,000 check one by one.
Wow.
And then go to the bank and actually deposit it, despite the fact that we were paying a service to do that. It's not a good look for TD Bank at all, and I informed them that it doesn't make the board look good, it doesn't make me look good, Shaylin or Joe, and there's consequences to that. And they are very well aware of that.
When will this go out, Joe? You said there's something going out tonight, but you'll put in the next one.
Early next week, I'll probably have another one that goes out. Is that okay?
I think so. I think it really is a matter of, I don't know what other members on the board think and that sort of thing, but I feel like if we can get people information, they can.
It would be nicer to say by early next week, since this is just getting implemented. We are now having all payments shipped directly back for our own processing. I can't say that yet. We've just got it in place. by then I could
That's
say, we are
perfect.
now doing that.
I actually would feel more comfortable if we waited till next week, just because
I wanna see one
I
show
think
up.
tomorrow
see
is
a
gonna be the
shipment.
first day, because it's
Yeah,
Thursday.
that makes sense, yeah.
And
Also, you don't wanna have to
it's
send out
still-
2 in a row.
So we're not changing the mailing, just to make that clear. We're not changing where it is getting mailed.
Okay.
Just wanna put that out there, because I know there was a lot of confusion about the PO box as well, because it's in Philadelphia. That's where TD Bank processes all of their payments for this type of collection. So it will still go there, it's just that it's gonna now be mailed directly to Shaylin and overnight.
So that's a good thing to make sure to mention, because if you put that out there, obviously, then you won't have to get those questions, right? So any
Try to
place,
put together a whole.
yeah, where there's been little
answer the questions
catches,
type of
yeah, yeah, that's perfect.
So realistically, we tried to avoid walking in and paying the school like they used to do by using TD Bank, and now it's
But
back.
now it'd be more
We're doing it
efficient.
anyway.
It would be more
Well,
efficient.
we're still
to
not
go there.
having people come in the building.
Right, but that's what we
There's
used to
not-
do,
There's no
right?
pay in person,
Okay.
there's no
Because-
pay in person, but
That ends up with cash in the building, and that's really that's not good risk management. We're not a bank.
Mhm.
We shouldn't have tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And this is a small portion, or what should be a small portion of Shaylin's job. So her going to the bank every day is not ideal either. So we want to mitigate the risk, and you would think that sending it to a bank would be the best way to do that.
Do you know what the sorting error was, or did they just tell you it was a sorting error?
Incompetence?
Yeah, incompetence, I would say. It's someone who probably was seeing this for the first time and decided to put it in a bucket and set it aside and not alert anyone to let them know. There was a lot of human error. In the myriad conversations that we had with TD Bank, it was consistently human error. I'm okay with one or two, but not the significant number that we had seen.
So I guess the question too would be like, how much did we spend thus far having them do not a great job for us? And then how much do we save, I'll say save, not pay them for, with this change?
I will tell you, the TD Bank lockbox was a very reasonable price. It was just
Now we
under
know why.
It was just under $1,300.
Mm-hmm.
So that conversation has not been had yet, because I want to see what their breakdown is, but it will be.
Right,
We're losing money
Definitely.
anyways by Shaylin's man hours.
yeah,
Shaylin's man hours, now the funds aren't being deposited, so we can't earn interest on it. So it's that too, in the combination of the grand scheme of it.
It was
So-
cheap and we got less than we paid for.
I mean,
Now we
if
know.
that can all be calculated too, maybe that's something that I don't know if there's anything pushback we can do, with the company, or what, regain some of those funds somehow, or something like that, but obviously that'll be after we get some of this other stuff.
There will be a discussion. We haven't made that
Yeah.
payment yet,
Yeah,
so
okay,
when the bill comes,
okay.
there will be a
I have
Yeah.
full confidence that you are going to hold them all
Dana knows
accountable.
me.
Well, I don't
Feet to the fire.
necessarily, I don't think that you wouldn't, but obviously,
It's worth a conversation, absolutely,
right.
yes. And honestly, if I get an invoice, I would be surprised,
Mhm.
because I will say that our bank rep is embarrassed. She's very embarrassed.
Right,
And it is somewhat out of her control. She's managing the best that she can. But this whole process has embarrassed her as well.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Okay. And I'm happy to answer any questions subsequent to, or, if anything comes at you after this and you want to relay it to me.
Okay,
Can
Thank
field
you
those
both for
questions.
dealing with that. Sorry,
Yeah.
Shaylin.
thank you.
We'll get through it and it'll be straightened out. I'm very hopeful that
Next year will be different.
next year is going to be different. And everyone who has frustrations or who is stuck in the process, please do feel free to contact me.
Nice.
I'm happy to investigate any situation that you have or whatnot, so.
It's a good thing nobody's been bothering you about accepting donations or anything anything, right, as far as.
Or my text messages.
Almost nothing else has come across my desk in the last few weeks, so it's just been tax collection. It's been a perfect timing.
You better understand my message about the agenda now.
Yes.
It's very unlikely to be that delinquent on other things, so it's taken a large chunk of my time, so I do apologize for any fall through on other things.
No,
No
never
need.
mind.
Totally understandable.
Anything else, Megan?
I did want to mention, there was one other positive to the tax collection. By switching to GST BOCES, we are now utilizing Municipay for online payments, and the rates were significantly lower than what the taxpayer was required to pay if they used a credit card or ACH. Significant. It was 2.65 for Municipay and 3.5 for satellite on the total cost of your tax. And then for ACH payments, it's a flat fee of $1.50 for Municipay, and then with satellite, it was $4.95, and then anything over $2,500 assessed a 0.5%. So the rates are significantly different and better, so that was another positive.
Pay the dollar and save the check.
Thank you, Megan.
I actually had two more updates. If you
Oh,
don't
go
mind.
ahead.
The boiler replacement, I just wanted to give you an update on that. So as supply and demand would have it, we still do not have the boilers that we ordered in place. They are due to be delivered either the week of October 3rd or October 10th. But we do have a temporary boiler in place. So that was finalized and complete, and one of our maintenance staff was trained on that today. So that's temporary, of course, and I have been assured that that can heat the entire 300,000 square foot building. And we will not have an issue with that.
Are you leasing it?
We have enough bus drivers, we have to hold over.
This is not an us issue, this is a
Temporary
them
boiler.
issue, so
They
it's on
didn't get
them.
it to us, so they had to make it right.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they're giving us a loaner
Yeah.
until we get ours.
Temporary
Okay.
owner until everything comes in, yes. And I also asked them for a direct line to a point of contact, so if we have an issue with that particular boiler, our maintenance staff is not troubleshooting it, they are. Because our staff's not trained on that. Staffing in the business office. So in addition to the lovely tax collection that we have had, staffing has been at a minimum in the business office. It's been a very rough summer, very rough. It was Teresa and I for a little while there, and now Steve, who I know you met in August. He's our new district treasurer, Steve Gatchie. He is a rock star. He is taking on the business office functions and all that and more. He really has stepped up to the plate, given the fact that our capacity it's been lean. It's been very lean. Our business office operated lean before 2 staff members resigned. It is excruciatingly lean at this point. So tonight, I am pleased to present to you 2 recommendations for senior account clerks so that we can staff that business office up again and get to running to the efficiency and the effectiveness that our faculty and staff are used to. We did interviews in the beginning of September, and we made 2 offers, and they were accepted. So we will be welcoming Elena Shillstone and Linda Phillips at the end of this month.
Okay. Welcome to them.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we're looking forward to them starting. And I think that covers it. I am happy to answer any questions.
Well, thank you, Megan, for all your help this summer and above and beyond, and Shaylin, thank you.
Absolutely.
Will they be helping Shaylin, or is that still Shaylin's job?
There's gonna be some restructuring, and my intent is to have some things removed from Shaylin's plate. She's taxed. No pun intended.
I don't know, she can handle it.
As a result of the business office operating as such a lean position that it was, there were some tasks that were pushed down to Shaylin, to the district clerk, that I would like to put back into the business office.
Yeah.
And a lot of that having to do with like new hire paperwork and processing new hires and answering those questions because Shaylin, frankly, should not be doing that.
Yeah.
So we need to bring that back up to the business office.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Thank you. I don't see Carrie.
Oh, actually, she asked me to do the report.
Okay.
It'll be very quick.
I was gonna say, this will be interesting.
Short and sweet. Menu pricing, she had attached a document, I believe, for you guys to review. Food costs are up 17%. We're all feeling that in the grocery store, on our own pockets. So she needs to increase the rates. She hasn't increased them in a couple of years, so she needs to increase them to cover her costs. So she's asking you for approval on that. Last year's budget ended in the black. Kudos to Terry, year after year, ending in the black. She had revenue in excess of expenses of about $140,000. So she's doing it right and doing it well. And she wanted me to let you know that she is working on summer reimbursement. We had a very busy summer with elementary school, high school, extended school year programs running all summer long. Plus we were feeding Quest R3 students. So she's got her work cut out for her, but those July and August reimbursements she's gonna process by the end of the month.
Okay, thank you.
And she's sorry she couldn't be here.
All right. Rob.
So-
That's Rob. Like, where am I looking at?
Why, you wanna do this one, Bob?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
So Chromebook deployment is going, it's a chore, but as of now, we're at about 500 devices out of 579, I think. And then Ezra's last day is Friday. We did find a replacement, but he can't start until November. But our intern we had over the summer wants to stay with us, so he's going to until then. So
Nice.
that's my report.
What happened to Ezra?
Thank you.
That's short and sweet.
Yeah.
I have seen multiple emails go out from the principals and everyone to get your Chromebook, and, you know, we've made it kind of pretty accessible to people to pick that up, so, you know, we just encourage everyone to make sure they come out and get their child's Chromebook, right, at this point? Okay. All right.
Oh, can I talk to you afterwards, just for a moment or two?
Did your kid break it? Okay,
No. It's about the donation.
okay. Don't send one home to my house, all right. Jeff?
Listen, I'm hesitant. We had a really positive start, so I really don't want to jinx us at this point. It's been great. I mean, with the summer program between the extended school year and the elementary, I mean, we had probably about 125, 130 kids come with consistency. We had a very normal end of the summer with orientations, both for new students and pre-K families. They went very well. It's just a whole different feel, I think, with the start of the school year, even just with the first 3 conference days with faculty and staff and everything, just a whole different energy in the room. And then certainly with the students returning, just even coming from the PTA meeting, the teachers are reporting, like it's different, it's normal, like it's what it would typically be, less anxiety. So really just a lot of positivity, really looking forward to, and it came from my faculty meeting, the teachers are excited about having an in-person open house.
Yeah.
So families can come into the building and really make that connection with their child's teacher. So they think that's going to have a huge impact for us. Busing has gone fairly well. You know, a lot of hard work was put into that, certainly by a lot of people, but I know Mr. Kardash put a lot into that. And one of our drivers, all of them stepped up in some way, but I know Dennis from transportation has done a tremendous job on stepping in for Chuck at this point. Morning drop-off, parent pickup, we're always trying to iron out a few wrinkles with regards to that, but really the parents in the community really across the board has been very positive and patient and flexible. And so again, coming from what I thought was a really great opening PTA meeting, good turnout, great conversation, a lot of good questions. I think we have another great group that hopefully this year we're back to having all those events for parents to come to the building.
Nice.
And I think it looks like we're going to have more parents volunteering their time to help support that. So again, hesitant because I really don't want to jinx it, but it's really been a great start, you know, to the school year.
So we had some very excited Pop Warner cheer and football players last Friday night, so they enjoyed their dance, I take it?
What's that?
The dance last week, how was that? We had some
I think
excited,
That That's for Mr. Marnett. We didn't have that dance.
We had a blast.
It was middle school, I forget they're moved up, I'm sorry, I apologize. So they were very excited. They did, I heard.
You weren't dancing?
I didn't get invited.
No, they were all very excited about that, so thank you for offering that.
Jeff, I think you need to get up, go find a piece of real wood and knock on it.
I know, yeah.
Knock on
I agree.
I don't think this is wood.
Knock on Formica.
I'll find it because we need to keep it going.
And open house is Thursday, the 22nd,
Yes,
right, Jeff?
yes,
Okay,
6:30 to
6:30.
8 o'clock.
okay, thank you. All right, Dom is not with us, I didn't know if anybody had anything they wanted to.
Bob,
Bob, you gonna do
stand
that?
He's always with us.
Okay.
We also had a fantastic opening. The 3 days of professional development, it just went off without a hitch. Summer school was incredibly successful, just some numbers. We had 15 students in the middle school move on to the next grade, which was, just fantastic. Our high schoolers had 67 class credits from 9 to 12 that they received, so great. And as you mentioned, the middle school dance was just
I forget it.
over 100 kids,
Yeah,
6 to 8. The DJ was fantastic.
That's
It was a little
awesome.
bit too hot. Oh, Mr. Higgs, you want to go into? And a big bang.
Rather warm.
Mr. Higgs is ready, planning his next get-together, Halloween
Yep, Halloween dance.
costumes.
That's fun.
So we look forward to that. Our open house is October 6th. It'll be a traditional open house. The parents will receive the interim reports and get to visit the classroom and spend 2 to 3 minutes with each teacher. And our big homecoming weekend is coming up. Pep rally, game, and ending off on our homecoming dance. So we got some great stuff going on.
No trunk or treat again this year?
I think, actually,
Yeah, we are.
is it gonna be
Talk
here or are
about
we
that?
gonna?
I missed that
It's
part.
on the PTA.
Oh, good,
It is?
Good, bring it back.
good.
That's gonna be
There's some new ideas that are actually popping up, because we do have a new PTA president, but definitely back is trunk or treat.
I'm not with RGSA anymore, so I might have to do an Andrew's trunk.
We pulled it together last year at the club, but it's nice to bring it back up to school if we can do that.
Yeah.
Amy?
Well, I echo what everyone else has said. It really has been a great start to the school year. Lots of really positive energy. As I think Kim was here in the summer board meeting and shared out, we have what I described as the special ed shakeup this year. So we had a large number of new teachers that were hired. Percentage-wise for our department, it was like a quarter of my department is new. And then about the same amount are teachers that were here but are now teaching in different assignments. So we have a lot of new staff, and as we were thinking about how to best support them, I really want to thank Joe and Megan for being willing to think outside the box with me about how we could support not just the new teachers, but the existing teachers that are taking on new roles to really increase the level of expertise in different areas where people felt they needed it as special ed teachers. So we're fortunate to be able to offer the whole special ed department a special ed PLC, professional learning community, and I'm really excited about it. I just kind of rolled it out to the secondary teachers. I'll be rolling it out in more detail to the elementary folks at their department meeting at the end of the month. But essentially what we're doing is providing special ed teachers that choose to be a part of that professional learning community opportunities to get into each other's classrooms and do some classroom observations. We have a new 9th grade direct consultant teacher who's going to teach algebra, and she hasn't done that so much before. So she can push into even seeing a gen ed teacher teaching algebra at that level. We're also offering them some specific set hours of after-school paid work to collaborate with their peers, and also some other formal training and PDs that we'll be able to roll into that too. And really, I had done a survey with all of the staff prior to the school year starting, and those were the things they said when I said, what do you need to work on? What support do you need? How do you want to receive that? Their number one request was, I want to have time to collaborate with my colleagues. I want to work in real time with somebody who's working on what I'm working on. And I want to do some observations. So that really came directly out of the feedback they shared with us. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's a great opportunity for us to kind of increase our professionalism across the board. So that'll be rolling out this year. Also, both of the school psychologists, Kim Manicus and Maggie Barber, who's the elementary psych, are gonna be taking on more CSE chair responsibilities. Most people that know me, my work here in the last 2 years will say, she's in her office pretty locked down during annual reviews and she can't see the light of day. So I need to be out and able to kind of work with more of our staff and be in some classrooms. And I am lucky that I have such great staff working in our department with Kim and Maggie that can help chair some of those meetings and take some of that load off. So we'll be seeing more of that this year. Also, I don't know how much it was shared at the last department meeting, but we're excited that we were awarded an SEL grant that will allow us to have a student advisory group where we're gonna train some of our students to really take on more leadership roles in this field of social emotional health and well-being. So we're gonna have, we've partnered with Mediation Matters. They've already started working with our 2 facilitators for that advisory group, which are Chris Johnson and Rob Hillerman. And they're gonna be working to facilitate some of those peer-led mediations, which I think is a wonderful opportunity, not just for the students that need to have mediations, but also for our students to develop some of those leadership skills. So that's gonna be a great opportunity to enhance our whole school community, maybe help Mr. Martinelli and Mr. Pitnell take a few things off their plate, I don't know. But also part of that is gonna be rolled in, Chris Johnson, as you know, does the social media mental health awareness. He's continuing to look for ways that he can expand that program and really feels that having some of our student leaders work on messaging that. So creating some PSAs, creating some training that they may deliver to our, younger student body is another piece that we wanna incorporate into that program. And there's a conference coming up that they're gonna be allowed to go to as part of that SEL grant as well. So that's some other exciting news. And finally, we did have a great opening day. We ran through a lot of training with our staff. Those that received the therapeutic crisis intervention training last year, they have to get refreshed every year, so I was able to run through that training with folks. Our staff and the really great reading they are really taking off. They're actually really pushing me like, can we start now? Can we start now? They are really excited about our new reading program. And I know I put it in the board report for the summer, but I was truly impressed with the professionalism of our staff to make sure they came in the summer and did that first course of virtual training so that we were able to not take up our entire opening days with training for really great reading. And we got some of the next steps of the training done then. And I really want to highlight Rob, Lorette, and Kim Manicus for helping me because it's been a lot to get all the licenses, all of the technical side of this up and running. We had also Jackie Leonard helped inventorying all the materials. So we are just ready to start pushing on the gas with it. That specialized reading program, I can't wait to report out to you guys. Let's say January-ish, hopefully, and you'll get to see some of the progress that our students are making in their reading development. We all know that we had some gaps, we had some delays from COVID, and I think this is a really great opportunity to catch kids up and establish some really good foundational literacy practices in the district. So it's led to some really great conversations, really exciting. And we ran through some other trainings with the aides that they had requested. They asked when we surveyed them at the end of last school year, they wanted some tech training, they wanted some special ed 101 training on disabilities, and they did that and they gave some really great feedback. So I think we're moving in the right direction with them as well, and certainly value we got a lot of new aides, so we had a lot of folks that needed some, new tools and training as well. So that's about it for me. Lots of exciting things. And this year, it's got me pumped. I'm really excited for all the stuff we have to offer our students and faculty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have 2 things. I mean, that was all great, but I have 2 more things. One, transportation, just an update. We've gotten some help that has made it go pretty smoothly. Peter has been a big help, whether he knows it or not. Just today, we had our longtime trainee bus driver finally passed his road test today because it didn't get canceled on him. This was the 5th one that's been scheduled for him. That happened because Peter helped and led us in the right direction and got us down that path. So he'll be available to drive hopefully maybe Friday, maybe, if not Monday. So that we have one more driver, that's a huge help. Also along the way, the communication breakdown has been difficult to manage, and there's been a lot more communication and problem solving going on by Chris Jevons in the elementary office, and she needs to be recognized for some of that. And Rhonda, our past transportation supervisor, came over on Labor Day and spent the day with Dennis and I to straighten out our routes and get everything going. So we've gotten a lot of help to make everything go. And Dennis has just stood up on a pedestal and rallied all the bus drivers, and they're all there solving problems, and nobody's nitpicking anything. So there's some good karma going on there. Also, I just wanted to point out, since we brought up our social media mental health specialist, Chris, you know that we had the media here on day one. While they were here, I was talking with Stephanie Rivas, who's started a new show this week, and she is going to feature Chris tomorrow at her 9 o'clock show on the roles of the social media mental health specialist, and that we're the only or one of the only schools that has begun to embrace the need for that, and probably paving a path that many others will follow. So.
Very nice.
Stephanie Rivas too. She's not gonna be here long.
Yes, she is.
She's way too good looking for the capital district. She's gonna be in LA or New York in about a week.
She moved out of New York because she wanted to go into a quieter place. I had a nice conversation
Don't
with
say
her.
what you think,
She
Jim.
came to Albany on
I always
purpose.
do. I always do.
So she moved here, and then she got her own show. She's doing her thing, but her intention was not to move away, because I had a nice conversation with her on opening day about that.
Well, you can, for those of us that can't see it in the morning, you'll send us a link or something we could watch.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Peter, by the way, I just wanted to say before.
So he has a couple of roles, but this one's a very
I don't
unique
think
thing.
you are, I just think, listen, I do the same
It
thing
is,
usually, I'm getting better.
Our kids have an addiction to the phones, and it's affecting them, mental health. How it's affecting them, we all have good theories, but we really need to wrap our arms around it and figure out how to address it
Yeah, because they're not going away.
in a preventative and in a reactive nature. But the first thing to do is create an awareness of it for them so that they can be self-aware that, hey, this is negatively impacting me. And then also put some supports in place and try to do some more research so we can figure out where the levers are to change this. Because phones aren't gonna go away. We have a person very specifically designated to do that.
Sadly, this should have been done as soon as any phones that kids had were smart, but that wasn't necessarily our job, but I don't think no one really knew.
Just to
then
go back
what
at that
kids had
time-
access to and what they were doing with and to each other online with the anonymous, socially mean things.
If you go back on a timeline to around that time, that's when an economy crashed and we were cutting teachers and nobody had budgets. I don't think we were gonna hire somebody to do that when we didn't have
Well,
enough
I don't
people to
even
do the
think
classroom.
that was at that point. I just feel like not just the school, but I feel like adults as
Oh,
a
yeah.
parent. I wish that I had been more aware and known more about what kids were tapping into or what was, the apps or what was available. I didn't even know.
Yeah, 'cause it's relative, because we're being
So.
proactive by addressing it in a different way. So, I think many others will follow.
We
One of-
are as a school for sure. I'm not trying to say we're that.
Chris will be
And our
getting
new
phone
cell
calls.
policy, so how's that been going?
How's the cell
How's the
phone
new
policy
cell phone
going?
policy?
Great.
Okay,
Oh, good.
We're
Perfect.
seeing definitely I guess a downtick in cell phone problems. Kids are hanging them up and coming in. And it was a little bit tough at first, and we still have our battles. We're dealing with it, and they're disconnecting slowly.
okay, good.
Do you get any complaints from the parents about the new policy?
We have some animated parents that share their thoughts about it, and when we confiscate the phone, yes.
What are they putting it in, some type of a sleeve or
A pouch.
a pouch?
Hung up on the wall.
Yeah.
That was all I have. We can
All
move
right,
on.
so we don't have any old business, so under new business, A through H, if I can have a motion to move that.
Motion.
Second.
Judy and Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so, invitations for visitors to address the board. You have anything to say, Mr. Moore? You're not really a visitor, but.
No, I will, on behalf of the union, I will reiterate that, the start of the year seems to have gone fairly well so far. So the teachers definitely are happy to be back and have everything in person from day one. No masks, no real restrictions on anything, so, truly being back to a more normal, school year seems to be, kind of reinvigorating.
Dr.
For
Order,
sure.
you're looking very official tonight.
Yeah,
Do they pay you to wear that, or like a NASCAR driver?
Pass it off.
Get a number?
Good, glad to hear. As always, Dave, thank you for coming and representing the staff and faculty. If we don't have any questions on the remainder of the agenda, I'd like to move the remainder of the balance. Can I have a motion, please? Jim?
Second.
Judy, all in favor?
Aye. We're getting good at it. Efficient, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna have a motion to adjourn the
Yeah, just
meeting.
let it go, Dana.
Jim, who else? Who's
Second.
Judy, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Fun.
Okay, I don't like it.
Bad.